In order for Arsenal to obtain true top 4 status, they will need to strengthen their squad, especially when there's been outgoings and players away on the African Cup of Nations. In this video, we'll be analysing the central midfielder that's on every Gooner's lips, plus we'll identify the perfect striker for Arsenal using data. Also in the video, we'll simulate 3 seasons in Football Manager with Arsenal just to see how well they'll get along with their new signings. Club captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has had disciplinary issues and looks certain to be on his way out, whilst Alexandre Lacazette's contract runs out at the end of the season, so identifying a striker is a priority for the Gunners. In central midfield, Sambi Lokonga and Granit Xhaka are the only first team midfielders available for the Gunners due to El Nene and Partey away at AFCON and Ainsley Maitland-Niles on loan to Roma, leaving this area very light. But regardless of the current situation, this area could be improved for Arsenal to seriously challenge for the top 4 spot at least. That's the intro. We'll be analysing the central midfielder from Lyon that we've all been speaking about recently, and also identifying the perfect striker for Arsenal using data. Let's get stuck into this video. And if you're new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed, like this video. You can leave a comment as well, especially if you want a similar video done but on a different team. Let's get stuck into this video. Before looking at the players identified, we at least first want to have an idea of the profile that we're looking for. Arsenal of late playing a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-2-3-1, with no team scoring more counter-attacking goals than the Gunners, 5, who look to utilise quick one-touch movements in attacking transitions. Alexandre Lacazette has played an important role with his link-up qualities, but Arsenal tend to have one man high up against the opposition's defence to create depth. So in theory, Arsenal's new striker could always be the man occupying defences, but being comfortable linking play gives more room for flexibility. Both Tomiyasu and Kieran Tierney are accomplished crossers of the ball. Arsenal cross 15 times per 90, and having someone who can compete in the air will be a welcome bonus. Another quality that Lacazette brings to this Arsenal side is his counter-pressing, working hard and keeping pressure on when Arsenal lose the ball high up the pitch, engaging in defensive drills and leading the press. But what Lacazette and Arsenal are missing is goals. Arsenal score 1.52 goals from their 12.65 shots per 90, Lacazette only having 1.27 shots per 90, which is lower than every attacker and midfielder apart from Xhaka in the Arsenal squad. So having kind of worked out the player profile that we're looking for as Arsenal's new striker, we can now move on to my 3-man shortlist. The first player on this shortlist is Dusan Vlahovic, a kind of modern day target man and the most obvious and talked about option so far. He's currently setting the Serie A alight, scoring 16 goals in Fiorentina's 19 games. Vlahovic takes 3.12 shots per 90, 46% being on target, with 25.4 of those being goals. The Serbian has won 63% of his 1.78 defensive duels per 90, whilst completing 1.43 interceptions. And lastly, he's won 45.9% of his 3.66 aerial duels. He's very smart inside the box and could be a presence for Arsenal, but he will come at a price with his market value currently at £63 million. The second player on my shortlist is Jonathan David, a different style of player than Dusan Vlahovic, but he too is a top goal scorer and has also been rumoured to join Arsenal. He scored 12 goals in 19 of Lille's Ligue 1 games, making him the league's top goal scorer, disappointingly with no assist. The 21-year-old Canadian takes 2.1 shots per 90, 60% being on target, with 34.6 of those resulting as a goal scored. David has won 57.1% of his 3.91 defensive duels and completed 0.99 interceptions. Lastly, winning 32.6% of his 2.86 aerial duels so far this season. He's also a cheaper option than Dusan Vlahovic, with his transfer market value at £45 million at the moment. Lastly, and possibly my personal favourite, number 3, we have Darwin Núñez. Similar to Lacazette in that he works notably hard for his side, unlike the previous two, he's not currently his respective league's top goal scorer. He is close though, scoring 10 goals in 12 Premier League games so far, just 2 away from the current top goal scorer, and has contributed to 12 goals in all. The 22-year-old takes 2.65 shots per 90, 55.6% on target and 37.04 of those resulting in a goal. The Uruguayan has won 58.3% of his 2.36 defensive duels and has completed 1.09 interceptions. Finally, he's won 3.6% of his 3.53 aerial duels. Must note though, Darwin Núñez is capable and has played games out on both flanks and completes 50% of his 5.99 1v1 dribbles per 90. All three of these strikers, for me at least, do pass the eye test, and if it were down for me, number one priority would be Vlahovic, but if priced out, I would then go for Darwin Núñez. Lee Scott, analyst and writer for Total Football Analysis, who was the influence of this report, went for Darwin Núñez and Patrick Schick at Bayern Leverkusen. There are also some honourable mentions, and I couldn't go through this video without mentioning the likes of Alexander Isak, Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins, but also I would like to mention Umar Sadiq from Almeria, Arthur Cabral from Basel and Mohamed Bayo from Clermont. The latter three strikers mentioned are all cheaper options, but they could also be smart signings who may not necessarily have the star quality as the strikers mentioned before them. But now we've identified the striker, my number one choice is Vlahovic, number two would be Darwin Núñez. We can now move on to the central midfielder that everybody's talking about, well, every Gooner's talking about, and that's Bruno Guimaraes at Lyon. The central midfielder who many Gooners and I would like to see at Arsenal is Lyon's Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal have been warned it will cost 45 million euros to get this deal done, and Fintan O'Reilly from Total Football Analysis has an excellent scout report on why Arsenal want the 24-year-old Brazilian star. As we've already identified the midfielder, we'll use that scout report to look at what he could bring to the Arsenal side. Guimaraes is typically heavily involved in Lyon's build-up and ball progression phases, and the Lyon man has played a very high 68.31 passes per 90 while retaining 89.23% pass accuracy. These two statistics tell us that he is heavily involved in early possession phases for Lyon and how his team relies on his ball retention and ball progression abilities in the build-up. With Arsenal having an intelligent build-up plan, Bruno Guimaraes could certainly help the Gunners be very strong while building and progressing. He is also very capable of switching play. Progressing with the ball with his dribbling is also a very effective part of his game. He has good ball control, agility, balance, strength and acceleration to help him beat players or draw fouls. This could be beneficial for Arsenal when they are transitioning from the build-up phase to the creation phase. He makes 4.67 dribbles per 90, which ranks him highly compared to other Ligue 1 midfielders, and has a 57.33% success rate. Bruno Guimaraes also places in the 98th percentile for progressive carries compared to the other midfielders in the top 5 European leagues. He has also played the fourth most passes into the final third, 11.41 per 90 of any Ligue 1 central midfielders or holding midfielders to have played at least 400 minutes this term, along with a high number of through passes, 1.87 per 90 for a Ligue 1 central midfielder, and his ability to break lines with his passing could help Arsenal with their transitions to attack, especially on the counter-attack. The 24-year-old is a well-rounded player and has made 9.97 successful defensive actions per 90 so far this season, ranking very highly among Ligue 1 central midfielders. He's also engaged in 9.22 defensive duels per 90 with an impressive 66.22% success rate. Furthermore, per StatsBomb, when compared with other midfielders from Europeans' top 5 leagues, Guimaraes ranks in the 96th percentile for tackles, 98th percentile for tackles won, and 99th percentile for tackles in the middle third, and 94th percentile for successful pressures. He's very comfortable playing as an aggressive midfielder in the defensive phases, thrives when pressing on the front foot, and loves to be proactive about regaining possession. He is very comfortable playing as an aggressive midfielder in the defensive phases, thrives when pressing on the front foot, and he loves to be proactive about regaining possession, using the same physical abilities he shows when dribbling. Unfortunately, that wraps up me identifying the perfect striker for the Gunners, but also a mini scout report on Bruno Guimaraes, largely helped by Fintan O'Reilly at Total Football Analysis. Now, for the fun part, in Football Manager, I have put Bruno Guimaraes in Arsenal. Of course, we're going to sim 3 seasons just to see how well they will do with their new signings. I also added a striker, but which striker did I add into the Arsenal squad? Let's find out. So here we are in Football Manager. Now, the funny thing about this little section here, I've actually had to do this twice. The first time, I've just went on holiday. I didn't add myself as a manager. I went on holiday with the striker and Bruno Guimaraes in the Arsenal squad. What happened was, Mikel Arteta got sacked in the first season. Arsenal finished 10th. The second season, they hired Patrick Vieira. They finished 9th. Third season, they finished 8th. It wasn't fun at all, and Bruno Guimaraes got sold after the first season as well. So all the fun got zapped out of that one. What I have done now is made myself as manager of Arsenal Football Club. I've created a 4-2-3-1 based on Arteta's football, so you can download the tactic as well. The link will be in the description. And then we simmed 3 seasons straight. So we didn't do no signings, no training, none of that stuff. We literally just set the tactic and we simmed 3 years just to see how well Arsenal will do. So let's look at the squad and the striker that we added. So here is the squad, and as you can see, Bruno Guimaraes at Arsenal. He is, how old is he in the game? He's 23 in the game, Brazilian. He plays central midfield. Apparently, or according to my assistant, he can play as a carrilero, a deep line playmaker, advanced playmaker, and a central midfielder. Also a Mazzala, by the way. His standout stats is his first touch, his passing, his technique, vision, work rate, positioning. He's got a lot of 14s here, anticipation as well. Those are his standout attributes. And looking at his player traits as well, he likes to try killer balls, he dictates tempo and tries long range passes. So all similar stuff that we spoke about a little earlier with the mini scout report, but we haven't just added Bruno Guimaraes in Arsenal, we have also added Dusan Vlahovic. Now, I was in the middle of 2 options. It was either Dusan Vlahovic, who I feel could be a tad unrealistic in real life given the price tag, but who knows? It is football and football is mad. But I also wanted to try out Darwin Núñez. For me, that would have been intriguing to see how well Arsenal did with Darwin Núñez. But with Dusan Vlahovic, we know it's going to be a lot more fun. And I just feel the viewers, especially Gooners, will be more interested to see how well Dusan Vlahovic can do at Arsenal. So let's look at the tactic. If we go to the tactics, it's a 4-2-3-1. We've got a wing back on the left, Kieran Tierney. We've got a full back on the right, Tomiyasu. 2 ball playing defenders, Ben White, Gabriel. In central midfield, now this is where Bruno Guimaraes could play, and Thomas Partey on the right hand side of midfield as the deep line playmaker. Though the deep line playmaker on support on Football Manager is a very creative player. So you could go for a central midfielder on defend, or even just a deep line playmaker on defend, just relieving some of his creative duties. And then we have a box-to-box midfielder, Bruno Guimaraes, who's going to be taking more risk and dribbling more of the ball as well, trying to use some of those strengths. And for Dusan Vlahovic, we're going to be using a pressing forward, someone that's going to operate inside the box, but he can also use his hold-up abilities. Now, this role can always depend on the type of player that Arsenal may sign. So for an example, if it's Ishak, you may want to go for a more supportive role, whereas Dusan Vlahovic, his strength is in and around that penalty box. So this is the 4-2-3-1 that we're going to be using for 3 seasons. Again, the link will be in the description, but now let's sim 3 seasons to see how well Arsenal will do with these new signings. So here we are. In the first season, Arsenal managed to finish 3rd. Very impressive. They qualified for the Champions League where they played 38. They won 26, so the same amount as Manchester City, but they drew 4 and lost 8, scoring 81 goals, which is the 2nd most in the league, and conceding 35 goals. In the second season, Arsenal won the league. They are the champions. They played 38, they won 27, so just 1 more than they did last year, and they drew 8, losing 3, scoring 102 goals. Absolutely crazy, conceding 40. In the last and final season, again, they finished 3rd. They played 38, they won 27, drawing 5, losing 6, scoring over 100 goals again, but this time 104, so even more, conceding 29, so they scored more and conceded less than last season, but finished 3rd with a points tally of 86. So looking into their cup runs, in the first season they got knocked out in the FA Cup quarter-final. Second season they made it to the final, but they lost in extra time to Manchester City. And in the third season, well, they got knocked out in the 3rd round, losing to Manchester United. In the Carabao Cup first season they got knocked out in the quarter-final by Liverpool, or to Liverpool. In the second season they won the trophy, beating Leicester 3-1 in the final, also beating Blackpool 7-0 on the way to the final. And then in the third season they lost in the final to their fierce rivals Tottenham Hotspur. Dusan Vlahovic scored in the 76th minute, but it just wasn't enough for the Gunners. How well did they do in the Champions League? Of course, in the first season, they wasn't involved. In the second season, well, they made it all the way to the semi-final, but they got knocked out to Manchester United, losing heavily in the first leg, 6-1 at Old Trafford before beating them 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium. And then in the third season, they got knocked out in the first knockout round, again losing heavily away, but this time to Real Madrid. But how well did the new signings do for the Gunners? Now let's look at Dusan Vlahovic. Go to his history. In his first season at the Gunners, he played 43 games, he scored 38 goals, 8 of those were penalties, 4 assists and 7 man of the match awards. In his second season, he played a total of 56 games, he scored 56 goals, 7 of those were penalties, 5 assists and 11 man of the match awards. And in the final season, he played 41 games, scoring 35 goals, 4 of those being penalties, 1 assist and 3 man of the match awards. His second season, of course, was the standout season. He absolutely was fantastic, scoring more goals than he played in the Premier League and scoring 1 goal per game in all competitions. Now let's look at Bruno Guimaraes. If we go to his history, in the first season he played a total of 32 games, he scored 2 goals, getting 3 assists by an average rating of 6.90, which is fairly average on Football Manager. In the second season, you can see that his games are dropping, the amount of games that he's playing. In the second season, he only managed to play 21 games in all competitions, again scoring 2 goals, but this time with 1 assist, no man of the match awards, an average rating of 6.81. In the third season, well, he didn't play at all. He made 1 sub appearance in the FA Cup or the League Cup, and that's just about it for Bruno Guimaraes. So Bruno Guimaraes wasn't necessarily a fantastic signing on Football Manager. Dusan Vlahovic, a different story, an absolute smashing player on the game. It is a little disappointing about Bruno Guimaraes, but if we go to the transfer history, maybe this will tell us why. So in the second season, Arsenal signed Benacer from AC Milan, Arthur from Juve, Milenkovic from Manchester City, Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea, and Cragno, the goalkeeper, from Cagliari. In the third season, they signed Angel Di Maria from PSG, Luis Diaz from Porto, Charles, I can't pronounce his surname, from Club Brugge, N'Golo Kante from Chelsea, Nacho from Real Madrid, Noah Katabach from SC Cologne, and Yangel Herrera from Dortmund. So they signed plenty of central midfielders, probably better than Bruno Guimaraes on Football Manager, which is why that he hasn't played a lot of games. In this sim, we can see that Arsenal sold Lacazette as well. They loaned out Hector Bellerin to Real Madrid. They also sold Rob Holding to Monaco, Matteo Guendouzi to Porto, Granit Xhaka to Porto, and in the final season, they sold Hector Bellerin to Real Madrid. They sold Aubameyang to Benfica, or Aubameyang went to Benfica on a free transfer. They sold Lucas Torreira to Wolfsburg, Pablo Mari to Dynamo Kiev for £30 million. Absolutely crazy. Nicolas Pepe to West Ham, Angel Di Maria to Lille, and Cragno to Inter Milan on a loan deal. And before ending this video, we can also look at the awards that Dusan Vlahovic managed to pick up. So in 2021, he did win FIFA's best under 21s player. In 2022, he won the European Golden Shoe and he was the top goal scorer in the Premier League. In 2023, again, he was the Golden Shoe winner and he was the English Premier League top goal scorer. But unfortunately, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you are enjoying this type of content, make sure you are subscribed, like the video, leave a comment, especially if you want to see this type of video done on a different team. Don't forget to comment that in the section comments. It's been a joy recording this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will speak to you guys soon. Shout out to all my Patreons. Peace out and God bless. Come on, you Gunners. I am a Gooner.